This is the Transforming Anxiety podcast with Kelly Hanlon McCormick, and today is episode number 194, Mindful Communication. Welcome to Transforming Anxiety. I'm your host, Kelly McCormick. I'm a mom to 2 boys, a wife, friend, daughter, and sister, and I'm a certified life coach, yoga teacher, and soon-to-be mindfulness meditation teacher. I'm no stranger to anxiety, and I'm here to teach you how to manage your mind and your emotions so that you too can transform anxiety into calm, peace, and whatever you want for your life. I'm so glad you're here. Hey there. Welcome in today. It's so good to be here talking with you. Just imagine your commute or your walk. Maybe you're cooking or getting ready for your day, and we get to hang out, you and me. So grateful you're here and that we have these conversations together. This time in this space, it's important. So, if you're in the States, we're on the literal eve of Thanksgiving today. And elsewhere, we're looking at the holiday season, right? The end of the year. And listen, just generally, this topic is a good one to cover no matter when or where you're listening to this episode. This is not about the holidays at all. We're going to be exploring mindful communication today. And I'm going to break it into 3 parts or 3 steps that you can practice, that you can just try on and consider as you're having conversations with family, perhaps, friends, coworkers, neighbors. This applies to anyone and everyone you're talking with, anyone and everyone you have interpersonal relationships with. So I thought this would be timely. I thought this would be helpful for those of you getting ready to perhaps gather with family for the holidays. But again, this isn't bound by that experience at all. This is for all of us, all of the time. So I want to start with a quote from Oren J. Sofer, who is a wonderful meditation teacher, and he's the author of a book that's called Say What You Mean, which is all about nonviolent communication. And in the first part of the book, this may even be in the introduction, he says, "What we say matters. We've each felt the power that words have to heal, soothe, or uplift us. Even one caring remark can make the difference between giving up and finding the strength to face life's challenges. We each also know something of the great harm that can be inflicted through speech. Sharp words laced with anger or cruelty can break a relationship and burn for years. Language can be used to manipulate and coerce on a mass scale, to fuel fear, war, and oppression, and to advance political agendas of genocide or terror. Few things so powerful are also so commonplace. Words are woven into the fabric of our lives. Your first love, your first job, your last goodbye to someone you love. Our beginnings and endings and the countless moments in between are punctuated by a play of words as we share our thoughts, feelings, and desires." I want to start here with this quote, this sentiment, because it's simple, but also really important. What we say matters. If you've been on the receiving end of someone's harsh or kind words, you know this is true. And if you've felt the sting of delivering harsh words or the warmth of sharing kind words, you also know this is true. What we say matters. And language, talking, communication is so ordinary, right? It's so everyday, it's so pedestrian, but also so very important. And bringing some attention, some awareness to the way in which we communicate can be helpful for a lot of reasons. We can share our words and ideas more clearly, we can convey our emotions and our feelings more honestly, and we can connect and we can love more deeply. This is one of those things that no one really teaches us, right? We learn how to speak. We learn how to form words and sentences, and we imitate what we see around us as babies and toddlers and children. But then we don't give it much thought, do we? We don't consider practicing communicating well. We don't often think about the gravity of our words. So again, in the spirit of like the overarching concept of this whole podcast, which is transforming anxiety, it's helpful to zoom way in on various aspects of our everyday life and think really carefully about how we can do this in all of the ways that we show up in the world. Transforming anxiety isn't a one shot. There is no one tool or one mechanism or one place for us to practice and work and clean up. It takes a whole variety of practices. It takes awareness. It takes a willingness and commitment to just keep practicing and to just keep working. So today, mindful communication. And as we explore this, just consider for yourself how this could work towards transforming anxiety for you, right? How this could impact your relationships and how this could help alleviate anxiety, stress, overwhelm, self-doubt, you name it. Okay, the first part of this, and I am borrowing heavily here from the whole world of nonviolent communication and a mindful approach to talking and listening here. The first part is show up and be present. Now, this may seem like a duh, but are you present in your communications? Think of all the times when you're on your phone, when you're finishing up a task, when you're driving, or just generally have your mind elsewhere while you're carrying on a conversation, right? Someone's trying to talk to you and you're not there. And listen, we all do this. You've done this. You've been with people who are doing this. I've done this. And we'll all do it again. Sure, no judgment here. Just notice this. Right? Be aware of it, because this is the foundation upon which all the rest of mindful communication rests. We have to be present. We have to fully show up in conversation, connection, and communication in order to share and receive in a real, honest, and mindful way. And this isn't just about being present with others. This has to start by being present with yourself. We're going to be talking a lot about relationships in this episode, but that first relationship, the most important relationship, is the one you have with yourself. It has to start there. Without that relationship, that foundation, that presence, none of the rest of this really matters, because you can't build on something that's not there. So, one of the quickest hacks to get present, you ready? Is to get out of your head. If you're thinking too hard, you're not present. You're either in the past, replaying something that already happened, or you're in the future, like time traveling and trying to control something that isn't here yet. So being present is about being embodied. It's about living in your skin, feeling your senses come alive, about resting in this moment. So that's number one, show up and be present. Next, be willing to lead with curiosity and kindness. So Fred Rogers said, anything that's human is mentionable, and anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. When we talk about our feelings, they become less overwhelming, less upsetting, and less scary. The people we trust with that important talk can help us know that we are not alone. So one of the most common things I ask students when they're struggling with someone they love, some relationship they're in, is, have you asked the other person how they're feeling or what they want? Have you asked? So many assumptions. So many times we just go into fixing mode, or we want to solve something, or we're taking action, and we're like 14 steps down the path in one direction before it even occurs to us. wait, am I heading in the right direction here? Like I was talking with a student the other day about their elderly mom and how they're going to accommodate her for the holidays this year. And she was going on and on about how they had to think of X and how they had to do Y and how they had to prepare Z, all for mom. And I stopped her and I said, wait, have you asked your mom what she wants this year? And the student paused and then she laughed because no, didn't ask, right? No curiosity. Mom has always wanted to do X and Y and Z. And I was like, all right, why? Why does mom want these things? And has anything changed? Is it possible that she wants something different? Is it possible, and listen, this is a question for you too, that we're all doing things we've always done simply because we've always done them? Maybe no one wants to do it this way anymore. Maybe it doesn't work anymore. Maybe it doesn't serve anyone and it just creates extra work or running around. Perhaps it's building resentment. But if we're operating under an assumption that it's what mom or the family or the friend or the community wants without having asked, right? Without having gotten curious, then maybe we're just totally lost and spending our time and energy doing things no one wants, no one cares about, no one values. So there's also a sense, to return to what Mr. Rogers said, that anything is mentionable, which makes everything manageable. And if we lead with curiosity and kindness and invite in curiosity and kindness from others, there's a real sense that truly we could go anywhere. We could talk about anything. We could ask any question, share any truth, express any desire, and be met with curiosity and kindness. Like, my goodness, think about that. Think about a world like that. One of my really close friends, she is a master at this. She oozes curiosity and kindness. It's like you can't be with her and help but feel it from her. It's absolutely one of the best things she brings to any relationship. And being with someone like that, knowing that you can be 100% yourself because she's just going to keep heaping on the curiosity and the kindness, I can't tell you what a gift that is. If you've been in the presence of that, if you've been with someone like that, you know how it feels. And what I want to offer you here is you can be that. You can do that for the people in your life. You can share that sense, that steadiness with the people that you're in relationship with. You can practice bringing curiosity and kindness to damn near every interaction you're in. And I tell you what, we cannot control the people in our lives. Darn it. But the more you can be what you want in a relationship, the more you can offer what you want to feel, the more likely the people around you will respond in a similar way. You be curious and kind, and just see if that doesn't invite some curiosity and kindness from them. Maybe not overnight, maybe not in one conversation. Like, be willing to play the long game. And see if you can't get there by offering that over and over again to people. All right, part 3. Remember what matters. This is a biggie. This alone could be helpful. Just remember what matters in any interaction, any conversation, in any given situation with another person. What matters? Like maybe you're talking with your kid, and what matters most in that moment is conveying to them that you see them, that you hear them, and that you love them. Or maybe you're in a conversation with a friend and you want them to know that you're really there for them in a certain struggle or a tough situation. Maybe you're in a work conversation, a work relationship, right? Talking with a coworker or a boss. And what really matters is coming to a good solution for a specific problem. So keep your eye on what matters. Like, conversations can very easily veer off into tangents or irrelevant stories, right? If you're listening to someone share something that they're going through, listen. It's not your turn to talk, right? Be there. Remember what matters in that moment. And it's that you're supporting, that you're loving, that you're connecting with them in their painful moment. If you're involved in a work problem and you need to find a solution, focus, right? Bring meaningful questions, brainstorm thoughtfully, be willing to hear someone out when they're offering something that's maybe wildly outside the box. Judgment doesn't matter, right? Blame doesn't matter. What matters is a solution. So stay focused there. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "People fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other." I mean, yeah, right? We get locked into fear. We get locked into assumptions. We get locked into playing small and hiding from each other because we sometimes forget what matters. We forget to open up. We forget to make each other real. We forget to communicate with each other. So show up and be present. Lead with curiosity and kindness. And remember what matters. These are 3 pillars to mindful communication that could serve you forever. Like, we could talk about this for a while, right? So, just a few more notes, just like to kind of put a even finer point on this that will help with mindful communication before we leave it for today. One is be honest. Like, be more honest. Be more honest with yourself, with the people around you, with what you want, about what you need. Be more honest. Mindful communication depends on it. When we aren't acting from integrity, when we aren't coming from a place of truthfulness and openness, we're hosed. One of my meditation teachers likes to remind us that it's impossible to sit down and meditate after a day of lying, stealing, and violence. And it doesn't have to be that extreme, right? But you get the point. There's no way to mindfully communicate unless you're being honest. So see where you can get more honest. Another point that's helpful here is show, don't tell. Or maybe tell, but also be willing to show even more than you tell, right? You can make requests, definitely state your wants and needs, tell people what your boundaries are, for sure. But I tell you what's even more effective is showing them. So be willing to use language, be willing to use your words to communicate who you are. And then back it up by showing people you're willing to walk your talk. This is taking mindful communication to the next level, right? And lastly, I want you to consider what you're not saying. So Stephen Hawking said, "For millions of years, mankind lived just like the animals. Then something happened which unleashed the power of our imagination. We learned to talk and we learned to listen. Speech has allowed the communication of ideas, enabling human beings to work together to build the impossible. Mankind's greatest achievements have come about by talking, and its greatest failures by not talking. It doesn't have to be like this. Our greatest hopes could become reality in the future. With the technology at our disposal, the possibilities are unbounded. All we need to do is make sure we keep talking." Sometimes we communicate by not talking, right? We shut down. And this can be useful sometimes, necessary even in the heat of the moment. But I love this reminder from Stephen Hawking that ultimately, in the end, all we need to do is make sure we keep talking. All right, my friend, that's it for today. Mindful communication. I hope this is helpful going into the holidays, right? As we close out the year 2022. I hope this is helpful in any of the conversations and interactions that you have. There are little pieces here that you can just consider and practice, right? Pull this into your life, integrate this, apply this, and see how it goes. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, if that's your thing. And I will be back at the same time, same place next week for more transforming anxiety. And until then, please take care. Do you have someone to help you with your stress, anxiety, worry, and overwhelm? If not, I would love to be your coach. The Fierce Calm Project is my virtual coaching program where we get to go in on topics like this one, and I can help you apply these lessons to your life so that you're creating your own transformation. We do live coaching calls, guided meditations, on-demand yoga classes. We hold book club where we read books your neighborhood book club won't, and there's lots of bonus content that I've created just for you. When you're ready to take what you're learning on the podcast to a whole other level, then come on over and check out the Fierce Calm Project at kellyhanlonmccormick.com/Fierce Calm Project.